In a world full of bad news, this podcast is a source of good news, real talk, and real inspiration. On this show, you'll hear stories of growth, legacy, and entrepreneurship. Everyday people who overcome real challenges to build something meaningful. My name is Stephen Padernacht, third generation Bronx born and raised in the real estate game. This is the Padernacht Podcast, brick by brick.
I just want to see how it is. Okay.
So obviously you know that's your camera, caddy corner,
Yep.
all that good stuff, right?
Said to Claudio, see if I can surprise him on 2 episodes in a week. See if I could switch it up.
What was the basis of conversation on the last podcast? That you
Hers is, it's called From the Ground Up. She talks a lot about like just building, you know, and like bad times, struggles, how to push through, faith, all that.
You're okay talking about the loss of your dad and all that?
Everything.
It's interesting, and I'll get into this a little more, but like we're very much aligned, you and I. You
Yeah.
know, I lost my dad. I was in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
I'm in the business.
No, I know. I've thought about
it. You know,
it, yeah.
like very, very, very much aligned.
Yeah. A lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities.
How'd your father pass?
Yeah, he had an infection like randomly and then just died of sepsis.
Shit.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even like sick for a while. It was
26 hours.
what the fuck, dude?
Crazy, bro.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, mic check is good? All right, cool. So, again, I'm just going to read the intro now, and then we'll go back and record it after with the teleprompter. All right, you good to go?
Yeah.
I have to go back to the green shirt for them.
Do this one first and then
Exactly. Okay, so today on the Padernacht Podcast, brick by brick, I'm sitting down with someone who's not only an entrepreneur, leadership coach, and mental health advocate, but also a friend of mine who's had a real impact on my life. Sean Degnan has built his life around resilience, discipline, and faith. He's turned around his own challenges into a mission to help others push past obstacles and live with purpose. Whether it's through coaching, speaking, or just leading by example, Sean inspires people to grow stronger and stay committed to their goals. This conversation is special to me because Sean's perspective has shaped the way I think about growth, balance, and legacy. I am honored to welcome my friend Sean Degnan to the podcast.
My brother.
How you doing, bro?
How we living, baby?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you for having me on, bro.
How does
Appreciate you.
it feel to hear those things about you when somebody else says them?
It used to feel really weird, and I just sit and I try to uncomfortably accept and receive it. So it feels good.
Do you?
But it's hard to feel good.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you feel like they're accurate? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I do. I think I put a lot of work into being who I say I am, and like putting large, huge goals out there and trying to fill those shoes. I come up short all the time, but I really do feel like I live what you just said.
I feel like failing forward is something that is super important in life. And I noticed recently you had committed to, what was it? You were supposed to run 52 miles or walk 50 miles. Was it you were supposed to jog 50 miles or?
So it was a backyard ultra. It's a 4.2 mile loop every hour on the hour.
Okay.
So you had to finish 4.2 miles within that hour, and then you had to be at the starting line. There was like a box.
Yeah.
You had to be within the box at the top of that hour. If it went 1 second over and you weren't in that box, you were disqualified. So I got 35 miles in and didn't end up getting back in that box in time for the next loop out. So I was disqualified from the race. And, you know, I had a goal of 50 miles on my goals list for 2 years. And I was like, I'm 15 miles away. I don't know when the hell the next time I'm going to get this close is going to be. Like, I got to get back out there. So I started doing some miles in the parking lot of where the race was while the race continued. And I was pretty beat up. I rolled my ankle 4 times in the woods during the race. And it just got kind of pretty tough mentally and everything. And I called my fiance up, and this was out in Jersey. I was like, Jack, I'm like, I got like 12 miles left. I'm like, you want to come and help me out? And she just had a spa day, and she was like chilling at the hotel waiting for me to finish this crazy race. And she's like, okay. And she showed up and did 12 miles with me to reach that 50-mile goal.
So when you say it was a backyard ultra, so you were out on a trail?
Yeah, it was a trail run. So 4.2-mile loop into the woods and back to a starting point.
Was there elevation?
Yeah. It was 500 feet of elevation every lap.
500 feet of elevation. So if I'm just doing some quick math, if you had to do 4.2 every hour, 4.2 every hour, you're doing about a 13-minute mile, essentially?
Well, you want to leave yourself. There's like a lot of strategies. I tried to leave myself 10 to 15 minutes in between each lap to fuel up, hydrate, change my socks, my shoes if I had to.
So you were trying to push for what, like a 10-minute mile?
Yeah, like 11.
11-minute mile.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're not. That's not a walk. That's a jog at best.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because like when I looked at it on paper, I'm like 10, 12, 13, 14-minute miles. I'm like, this is a joke. And you go out there, and I mean, you try to do 50 of that. That's number one. That's crazy. But you're in a trail. Number two, you're dodging rocks. You're going over creeks. You're up and down. It's insane. And the other piece of it is just like doing the same loop. How many times? It's brutal.
Yeah.
Mentally, like it's exhausting.
Were you doing it? Did you? Are you the type of runner that runs with headphones?
No,
or?
nothing.
So you're just there
Silence.
with your thoughts.
Me and my. That's I think the for me at least that's like my like solitude. It's like beautiful like pain. I learn a lot about myself during those times.
That is very a la David Goggins. Are you big into Goggins?
I'm not. I respect the shit out of the guy. I love what he did, and I think in a certain time frame in my life, like when I was first introduced to him, I was like, "Yep, I'm all about this dude." And it doesn't really do it for me anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you've kind of moved. I find that like I've moved. So I'm not. So I need Goggins in different areas of my life. Like when I'm like right now, it's gonna sound crazy, but like what I'm listening to a lot in the mornings before I go to the gym or whatever it is I'm listening a lot to Andrew Tate. And like if you like type his name, and I never would have thought that I'd be into Andrew Tate, but he's talking a lot about you have to suffer, you have to go through pain to be not necessarily. He talks about being successful, but I think just to live a life that is not your ordinary life. Most people wake up and they're like, hey, you know what? I want to get a good job. I want to be stable, and I want to turn around and I want to raise a family and, retire at 65. I don't think that that's something that aligns with me. And I think that you're very similar, that you want to live this great life that impacts people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I always would say, and I still say this at times where I'm like, I'm suffering or I'm putting in the work now so I could live like others don't live in the future. Like, live like others do now so you could live like others don't in the future. And I always say that. But in the future, I guarantee you with all certainty in my mind that I'm still going to be putting myself through crazy struggle, still busting my ass work, and still trying to like create just bigger milestones, impact, everything. So
I think that you really hit the nail on the head, because like when we get to a point where once we reach these goals, like, okay, what's next? And how do we grow and how do we become the best version of ourselves on an everyday basis? For you, I see that you put yourself through these different obstacles, such as the ultra. Recently, you were doing, I think it was a crazy ruck that you had done recently also with Alan, right?
Yeah.
And you're always putting yourself through these obstacles. Do you think that builds your character as well as your fitness level?
So when I was young, and me and you have talked about this a little bit, but like when I was younger, I was like huge into rap music, and DMX is like all time for me, above like anything.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to X, man. And I would be a little kid, and I was like second, third, fourth grade, and I'm listening to It's Dark and Hell is Hot on a tape cassette. And I was introduced to like that life and that narrative of like struggle, suffer, violence, pain, but faith, love, beauty. Like there's like so many just like different sides of X and his music. So I look at what I do now as like this is intentional suffering, and for me, I seek challenge. I seek all this stuff through physical fitness a lot of the time, But what's really difficult sometimes for me is just to sit still, to not pick up my phone, not answer a business call, to meditate, to get away from the world. And that's really like a difficult thing, but I also love that too. So, you know, the two like completely different worlds of like doing 50 miles or just sitting in silence for an hour with nothing are both so hard for me. But I think it also creates like a lot of just battle scars for me that like creates more grit and just kind of shapes who I am.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I find it very difficult to just disconnect and just sit there and just shut the phone, put it on do not disturb, and like don't even think about business, because you know you're running various businesses at this point in your life, and so there's no like I'm going to take Sunday off.
No.
Right, Sunday's a busy day for you, actually. Right, so how do you balance fitness and you're engaged to be married? Congratulations!
Thank you.
And also the businesses that you're running. How do you balance those three?
So I don't think I balance. I think I prioritize. And a lot of the days or weeks or months or whatever, I think my priorities are kind of misaligned, and it just naturally happens like that sometimes. And I have to kind of course correct myself. Sometimes I see that I'm out of balance and I'm out of whack. Sometimes it's my fiance, like, yo, like, get your ass home tonight. You've been there for 7 days straight for 12, 15 hours. I'm like, yep, you're right. And then, I'll have a great week the next week. So I don't think it's really balanced for me. And like, I'm sure you could relate to this too. Just like doing everything that you do is like, you always have to be on. Like, you're a realtor. Your phone rings. Hello, Steve Pat here. Like, let's rip it. What do you want to do? And like, you're on. For me, I have to do the same thing. Like, it's customer service. It's employees, your team members. Like, there's always people to answer to. And like, even when you're your own boss or whatever, like, we have more people to answer to than anyone.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have people who depend on us.
Totally.
You got to make sure that you're hitting payroll this week.
Exactly. Yeah, bro. Yeah. And, you've been down that path the same way I have. Like, where, you've been through ups and downs and struggles and all that. But back to your question, like, I don't think I balance. I think I just prioritize. Like, physical fitness for me is a priority daily. I have to do my workout. If it's an off day, I have to get my steps or stretch or something.
Move your body.
I have to move my body in some capacity. Like, that's the only way I'm going to feel good. And I truly believe that.
Do you find it to be more of for me, I find it more of like a mental health thing than anything else.
Totally. I directly correlate physical fitness to my mental health. And if I am not working out, if I'm not in shape and feeling good about myself, my mental health is going to slowly decline. But that's the physical fitness part. My relationship part, like, I struggle a lot, and I say this to her often, where I'm like, look, like, I need you to work with me. I need you to bear with me, because like, I'm trying to continue to build these things. I want to build an empire so that we can impact so many people. We can build the life of our dreams and the family of our dreams. And she's a warrior, dude. Like, I mean, I don't think the women get enough credit. Like, when we're on these journeys, it's like, they are absolute warriors, like standing by your side, supporting you, and doing everything that like is done behind the scenes. We're out here on Instagram flexing out, It's like,
these nice videos and all that. Yeah. But they're the ones that are like sacrificing, like, dinner, sacrificing, like, hey, you know what? I can't necessarily plan my Saturday and Sundays. Like, all of my friends are going out and they're going out for brunch with their husbands, and I can't do that because mine is working.
Yeah.
It's very tough to be a woman that is standing by men like us that are so driven. And I think it's important to find that right partner. And so many people don't, and they end up becoming, I guess, unhappy in their lives. So again, congratulations on getting engaged. And I want to just lead that into the restaurant business.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah, people don't see, like, they come to the sale house and they see a DJ, they see a band, they see the beautiful food coming out, and they see you there, and they're like, oh, all right, cool. Once it closes, then I guess Sean, the owner's just going to go home. Yeah. And they don't realize that if it's 8 o'clock at night, you got there at 11 o'clock in the morning, and you've answered 50 calls and you've made sure. So how do you manage the restaurant business? Are you there a lot, or how does it work with your other businesses that you have going on?
Yeah, so I'm there a ton, like a lot. And it's, thank God, it's been trending in the right direction to where we've really been like just picking up momentum, and we've been growing the team, the systems, everything is just kind of like gelling and clicking finally. We're in year 3 right now. We're almost done with year 3, and it's a grind, bro. I mean, it's very, very difficult to run a restaurant.
Yes.
Especially like the size of like our restaurant. It's enormous. You know, like I've got a buyout tomorrow and there's 325 people coming, you know, like, and that's not even going to fill up the whole place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like there's a huge just component of like the mass scale of what it is, but no matter what size the business is, running a restaurant in general, you just have 1,000 things that you have to deal with on a daily basis. I did a really shitty job, I think, for 2 years of delegating and trusting my management team and some of the key players on our team that really are talented people. I kind of had just this, I don't know, it's like, I don't know if it's a power thing, if it's an ego thing, and I'm no like stranger to struggling with that stuff. But this year I finally like let go, and I don't know if you remember at one of the ACE dinners, like I said, I really want to work on delegation. And I started doing that this year. And I've been freeing up more of my time, not to the level or degree that I want it to be. Not yet, at least. But it's trending in the right direction,
I think that when it comes to delegation, I've learned that the best way to delegate is to give people ownership of a specific department. Okay, look, you're in charge of ordering. This is what I'm expecting for us. This is my vision. I need for you to execute it. You're in charge of the entertainment. So this is what I expect to see. And the more that I gave that sort of direction to people that were working necessarily in my different organizations, the more I saw their talent shine, and it was able for me to free up free time.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting. So like I got a text yesterday. Or this morning, I'm sorry, and it was a crazy day yesterday. We had 4 events, nonstop reservations, walk-ins, beautiful weather, like everything was just like cranking.
Yeah.
And we crushed it. Like the whole team crushed it. And if you were at the restaurant yesterday and you watched me, I was just like this. I'm everywhere, every second, and I graded myself like an A+ on the day.
Okay.
My business partner texted me and he's like, dude, massive number, like unbelievable day, great work, blah, blah, like just kind of like giving me like my flowers for the day.
Yep. Okay.
And I thought about it and I took it in for a sec and I was just like, what is this? And what you were just talking about is leadership.
Yep.
Leadership is the team.
Yep.
It's delegation. It's giving people the ownership, like you said, but it's also trusting your team. And yesterday I trusted my team, and I really let it rip, and they took ownership and they crushed it. Everyone was happy, like just like really good energy, good vibes. And I responded back to him and I was just like, dude, the team crushed it. Like, it's just like, it's not me.
Yep.
It's not me. We. And it's not, I said this on the podcast last week, like, it's not my employees, my staff. It's the team. I work with you, alongside you.
Yep.
You don't work for me,
There's no I in team, but there's no I in team, but there's what is the expression I'm thinking for? There's no I in team.
It's like me versus we or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something along those lines. But yeah, the more that you and I and people in our position that, look, we're, I hate to use the term small business owners, but on a grand scale of like compared to Amazon and all these big players, like we're small business owners and we're learning on the fly. We've taken the risk in our lives to choose this path instead of the path of the stability. And it's not only growing as business owners, but also growing as human beings. Yeah. And I see it every single day, small business owners, like restaurant business is tough. Like I think the stats are like, 80% of restaurants fail in the first year. And you've grown up in the business. Is that correct? I think you said that the first time you started was when you were, like 13, 14 years old?
Yeah. So funny story about just growing up, like, around restaurants. So my uncle Eddie, who lives in Ireland now, which is wild, he used to be the managing director or whatever it was at the Palm 2 Steakhouse.
Okay.
over on the west side. It was like back in the day, 80s, 90s. It was like primetime New York City steakhouse days, and it was like everything I imagined like celebrities like having a life of, you know. And like I looked at restaurant owners, managers, or whatever as like the iconic figures because he kind of like romanticized it, you know, and like the restaurant world was like Goodfellas, you know, you walk the lady through the kitchen and you get the special treatment and the service. So I always grew up around that type of stuff and getting special treatment at some of these restaurants I would go to with my family members and stuff. I was like, damn, like this is the life I want to live. And then you start working in it, you're like, whoa, it's not what I thought it was. Whoa. This ain't the movies anymore.
Nope.
But yeah, so I got in trouble as a young kid, and I ended up getting sent to the restaurant as like a punishment.
Yeah.
And it was the best punishment that I ever had in my life because I ended up, dude, I was like the richest kid in high school from having all my busboy money, you know? It was all cash. It was good stuff. But yeah, so I worked in, you know, the restaurant.
Where was that restaurant? Was that the Palm 2 Steakhouse or was it somewhere else?
Sam's Restaurant in Dobbs Ferry, Italian restaurant.
Okay. Italian.
Great spot. Maurice, he's been there forever. That's actually where I met Nick Menente and Joe Kay.
Oh, okay.
So we all worked in that same restaurant as kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we all like went through like high school breakups and all this crazy stuff together, and we were all like, there was like a mini Ace like back in the day, 2005 or whatever the hell it was, you know.
So you started as a busboy.
Yeah.
And that was when you were what? I think you said 13.
Yeah, 13, 12 or 13, something like that.
My trajectory was busboy to waiter to bartender to manager to owner. Was yours similar?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I like would dabble in the kitchen here and there. I was never like really like a cook, but I was like obsessed with watching them create these dishes. Yeah. And you know, come down the line in 2020, I started my cooking page, Dining with Degs, and I started doing recipes, and I was applying for cooking shows and all that stuff. But I did a similar path to you, and you know, I fell in love with food and like hospitality in general.
I tell everybody that most people don't realize this, but everybody should work in the service industry at some point in their life. From the perspective of, first of all, learning how to appreciate the person that is serving you food instead of not necessarily ignoring the person that's serving you, and from the perspective of learning how to tip. A lot of my businesses and restaurant experience happened in Manhattan. So like you get the tourists that come in from out of the country, they don't necessarily know that the way they tip is not the same way, and the gratuity is not the same. So I always tell people, get a job in the service industry. Do you agree with that perspective?
100%. And I think it goes even beyond what you said. Like when I was running my other companies before I started the restaurant, I would look at resumes when I would get people to apply. And if they had restaurant experience for more than like 2 or 3 years, I'm like, oh, they kept a steady job at a restaurant. Or if they were a wrestler, I would be like, this person is like ahead of everyone else in the interview process.
A wrestler.
Yeah. And so there's two different things here.
Yeah.
Service industry, as a waiter, a busser, a host, whatever it is, you're dealing with people that are happy. You're dealing with people that are pissed off. You're dealing with nasty sides of people waiting for a table. I want a reservation. My steak's overcooked, this and that. You have to manage people.
Yep.
And it's so difficult to do with a smile on your face.
Sometimes drunk.
Like, I mean, you fight, so like everything, and you have to do it with a smile on your face if you want to be successful in hospitality. That is one of the most difficult skills you will ever have to learn in your life. And if you have that and translate it to any other area of your life, you're going to be freaking flying, man.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be, everything else is a lot easier than that.
Agreed.
Try to go to the front of the sale house on a Saturday night in July and try to work that door for 3 hours.
And tell somebody that we're packed, you can't come in. Or table wait is 2 hours.
They're like, F you, bro. We don't want to wait. Get us a table now. And you're like, sure, sir. Let me figure this out for you right now.
Or the best one is like, can you just get Sean, please?
Oh, God, forget that one. That one's brutal. Don't open a restaurant next to the hometown you grew up in. Oh, my God.
But I know Sean. So I told Sean I was coming today.
Even like there's a new girl that's a hostess now, and she's like like, does everyone like know you or something? I'm like, no, they just throw it out at every restaurant. If they know the owner's name, they're throwing it out. You know?
Yep.
And so my business partners, there's a bunch of us, but 3 of the guys all grew up in Ardsley, and I grew up in Irvington. So like we're all
river
local
towns.
people. So the names are always getting thrown around. I'm this person's cousin and aunts and uncle, whatever. So it's funny, but it's that. But then the other piece, so wrestlers, I brought up.
Yep.
Wrestling, it's a little different than football, than basketball, soccer. It's you, it's yourself. You go out there on the mat, and I learned this from a young age too. You're out there on your own. And when you lose, you can't blame the guy who missed a block or you got blown up in the backfield. It's all on you. That responsibility falls on you. So you learn a lot about yourself and managing your emotions and all that as taking ownership of
Accountability. I was thinking accountability.
Totally. And it's a very difficult thing to do as a young kid. If you're able to take that and own that and grow in that area and not go in the back after you lose a match and punch the locker till your knuckles are bleeding and all that stuff, which I used to do, when you grow out of that, you say, all right, when I screw up in the real world, when I screw up in my relationship, with a colleague, with a friend, I got to take that on the chin. I got to say, I screwed up here.
Yep.
And I can move forward with accountability and say, I'm not going to do it again.
My father taught me something at a very, very young age, and he said, when you start pointing fingers at people, right, you've got one going at somebody else, but there's 3 coming right back at you. And what he taught me in that lesson was that you have to take accountability. Do not ever, no matter what the situation is, you can't blame the cop for pulling you over if you had a busted tail light. You can't blame somebody for how they react if you didn't necessarily communicate what you really wanted from them. And I take that with me every single day. And I tell people, like in my position, I have a team that I'm growing in the real estate business. I have, employees that worked for me when I had the bar open. Like, and it's all the time. It's like you want to say this person is just not cutting it. But then you have to realize, like, am I being the best leader that I could be for this person? And just to take that even a step further, through my leadership growth, it's learning how to deal with the different personality types and understanding and putting people in a position to win. Like, so we have what's called the KPA, which is the Keller Personality Assessment. So anybody that comes onto the team, I make them take this assessment. And what it does is it spits back out the type of environment that they would ideally succeed in. So it's like taking somebody who is not necessarily outgoing. They might not be a good salesperson, but they might be good at tech, or they might be good at, the back end of programming and systems. And I kind of learned that you have to, number one, take accountability, be the best leader, to be the best leader, and also putting people in the right positions to grow.
And that's leadership too, right? Being able to be aware enough of, like, all right, Sean's going to thrive in this area, but if I put him over here, he's going to tank, and he's not going to enjoy that either. So you want people that are happy in their positions.
And instead of blaming Sean, just understanding that that's your fault. You're the leader.
Yep, totally. It's hard to do that. It's hard to recognize it.
It takes a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And that's okay if you're not that type of person. Like, there are some people that just want to live and work a 9 to 5, come home, and that's what they want to do. And God bless. It's just having that self-awareness that the type of person that you are, I think, is the important part of it.
Yeah, so I heard a quote recently, and it was talking about, like, leadership, and it was and risk, like particularly risk. And I think for me, and I'm not sure how you feel about it, but like risk and entrepreneurship is like they go hand in hand, And there's a quote, famous quote, I don't know who said it, and it's like, the bird doesn't land on the branch because it trusts that the branch won't break. It lands on the branch because it trusts that it can fly. And it's so true because, look, that branch might go down. That restaurant might fail. That real estate deal might fall through, but I'm going to trust myself. I own that. I have more belief in myself than what the thing is.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I have heard, as you were saying it, I remembered the quote. I've heard that quote. It's an amazing quote.
It's fire.
Yes. It's you know that you're going to fly. It's no matter what. And I think that people don't take enough risk. And I think that people sell themselves short. And, just to go back to back quotes, right? Like that one quote that they say, like, don't dim your light for anybody else's. I think the quote is, like, don't play small because you're not giving the world all the things that you're capable of. And so many people don't do that. And I feel like the more that you align yourself with people that do that, if that's your personality type, the more you're going to thrive.
Totally. It's hard to do that though. Like I think for me, for a long time, like I was in this rut of like, I got a great job. I'm making great money, or so I thought. You know, I was on that track of like building equity in my condo, and I was all these different things. And I was on that like life path that I thought I wanted. But I would go to work and I'd be there in the South Bronx. I was in Hunts Point for 9 years and I ran a wholesale produce company, a great place to be and thrive and to build and grow. But like, I wasn't truly fully happy. I wasn't doing everything I wanted to do. I wasn't building leaders in ACE. I wasn't running a restaurant and, you know, creating food and all that's like fun stuff that I love. I was doing some of like the leadership stuff, but like I was capped. Yeah. And when I was able to finally like say, all right, let's take a little risk here, Sean, and jump down that path. It's scary. But I started to do it more because I realized the more I jumped, the more I took risk, the more I was feeling aligned with my life trajectory. You know, it's crazy.
I think you said it right. You were doing instead of creating.
Yeah.
The more that we can create our personality types, the more fulfilled we're going to feel on a daily basis. Yep. Which kind of leads me down the path of ACE. So I was introduced to you and Dave through the one of the outdoor workouts. Tommy from Body Blueprint had, I guess you had him on. He was one of the trainers. He posted it, and I saw a cold plunge Saturday morning or whatever, Sunday morning. It was definitely Sunday because you guys love Sunday mornings.
Always Sundays.
Yeah, always Sundays,
baby. Sundays.
I was like, oh, this looks cool. And me, like, I think of myself as an extroverted introvert, right? Like I don't necessarily like going to networking events. I don't like going. So I'm like, I don't know what type of whatever, but I can go there. I can cold plunge. I brought my fiance with me.
Yeah, I remember
we had been talking about it.
I remember that.
And from that moment, right, that was last, we're going on.
Probably last spring,
like last May, April.
Yeah.
And since then, like I've been totally aligned with you and Dave and the mission of ACE. How did, and Dave answered this for me when he was on the podcast, but I'd like to hear your perspective on how ACE kind of came to be. Tell the new time listeners what ACE actually is, if you don't mind, and how it came to be.
So ACE, Action Cultivates Excellence, is a men's leadership and personal development company. It's predominantly an event-based business as of now. It came about through just two dudes that were struggling and that like were tired of doing the same shit and that didn't want other people to continue to do what they did, for so many years. I mean, Dave, you've heard it 1,000 times on his podcast and, Instagram and all that stuff. Like he's very open about his struggles and his faults in his life and all of the just trials, tribulations, all the stuff he's put himself through in life. And I had the same shit going on, man. Like, I couldn't get out of my own way for a long time. I got arrested, like, I don't even know how many times growing up. I was getting into fist fights, like, every weekend. I was getting blackout drunk. And then I would go to work, and I'm, like, the manager of this company. It's like, who the hell is this guy? Like, who do you think you are, bro? And
this kid from the Rivertown.
Yeah, like, what? And I struggled with anxiety for a really long time, man. Like I had like brutal panic attacks. I was hospitalized multiple times. I dealt with a lot of grief in my life, like even before my father. And I just never dealt with it. I was just like a closed clamshell, bro. Like I wouldn't talk about anything. I would just get like aggressive once a month or something. Like I would get in a fight or whatever the hell it was. And it brings me to just kind of how Dave and I met. I mean, we were probably 2 or 3 years of him and I like just doing good stuff for a while, And I was running a men's group for 4 years out of Gigantes.
Okay.
And I was running like a small group, 10 guys. It grew to like 20 guys at one point, and it was a monthly dinner, very similar to the ACE dinners. But I did it for a while, and it got a little stale. Like it's just like, you would go around 2 questions each month. It would be a different question, but similar themes, similar guys. Not much was really shaken up, and it was good for a season. Yeah, but it was just dry. So I was at a networking event, Tony Peck's golf outing event down in the Bronx. And I see Dave, and I saw him before he came up to me. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, oh, this guy's wearing like this Burberry like cuff fold. He's got the glasses. He's got the chest hair out. He's enormous. I'm like, what is this Goomba Johnny doing here, bro? And sure enough, he comes up to me. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yo, I think I saw you in the gym today, bro. And I'm like, no, you did not. And he's like, what gym you go to? And I was like, oh, like I'm over in White Plains, blah, blah. He's like, oh, like I'm up in Yorktown or whatever it was. So long story short, he had seen my brother in the gym that morning. And so that's just kind of how we started talking. And I found out he went to college with my sister 10 years prior. And he knew my sister really well. He had actually been to my parents' house before for like a party one time. So we connected, and I found out he was the guy that had No Snooze Podcast, who my sister was telling me about for like 3 years. I got connected with this guy, blah, blah. So the stars aligned. And he asked me to be on the show, and it was episode 156, the first episode after his co-host had left.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
So I was the first like guest interview, I guess.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we just got like deep like right away. And we were talking about, anxiety. We were talking about grief. We were talking about like all these just struggles that him and I have been through. And it was a very vulnerable conversation. And that episode kind of took off. It just did a lot of great numbers. It made a lot of impact on, our small communities that we had.
Yeah.
And from there, we started just to connect a little more. We worked out a few times, and I had asked him, I was like, yo, you ever been to a retreat? He's like, a retreat? What are you talking about? I was like, I went to one in April, like right before I opened the restaurant. I was like, it was this 3-day Wim Hof breath experience, cold therapy, all this stuff. Yeah. And I was like, it was great, but I was like, I think we could do something a little bit better, And he's like, all right, cool, let's go to one, like whatever. I'm like, no, like let's create one, me and you. She's like, screw it, let's do it. Yeah. So we put our heads together. We put something out on Instagram, just like, hey, men in the tri-state area, if you're interested in doing a men's leadership event, breath work, meditation, outdoor workouts, all this stuff with a group of like-minded dudes, like, let us know. Flooded DMs. Like him and I, like hundreds of DMs. Of course, none of these guys show up to Ace now.
Yeah.
Where you at, boys?
They're there in spirit.
We get a message from a girl named Steph Madonia.
Yep.
Shouts to Steph. She was a huge piece of just the inception of Ace itself. And she said, hey, I got this property in New Paltz, and I think this could be a great spot for you guys to do your first event at. We're like, all right, let's do it. So CV behind the camera here. Came with Dave. Dave had like just the mindfulness to bring CV to capture everything. It was like, that's one thing Dave does so well. Like he's always ready for like the moment that's going to happen. And I'm never really thinking of that stuff, but he does it all the time where he knows when gold's going to strike. And he's like, yo, CV, get this or whatever it is, and he shines that light on people. Which is, it's a beautiful character trait of him.
Yeah.
So we go up, we film this whole thing. We have this like little promo, like, yo, we've got this 3-day exclusive retreat weekend. Like it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And we had nothing. We had no idea. We didn't have a name. We didn't have a speaker. We had nothing. And we had this big peer pressure that we put on ourselves to kind of fill those shoes. Yeah. And we created the brand.
So the first event was, if I'm correct,
summit.
Was a summit.
Yeah.
Was your first summit.
First summit, man. So we were up there on his birthday. Actually, it was October 26th. I think it's his birthday. And we saw the house, we committed to it, and then me, him, CV, and Steph kind of started collabing, meeting, and coming up with the concept of Ace. So we commit to the property, October 26, 2023, and that weekend's my brother's birthday, October 28th, and we're celebrating his birthday, whatever it is. The next week, I'm flying out to L.A. with my boy Matt Ramos, and we're going to see Ed Milet. I'm hyped. Yeah. I've been waiting for months to go to this thing.
Yeah, I like Ed Milet.
The best. So I'm packing my bags, I'm getting ready, and I hear on October 31st on Halloween that my dad is not feeling great. I'm like, all right, a little weird. Like he doesn't really complain ever, I'm like, all right, no big deal. Whatever, check in on him. Yo, you good? Everything's straight? Whatever. No problem. Later that day, I'm going to JFK with Matt. And I'm at JFK. We're drinking a beer in the lounge, and we're getting ready to get on the flight. It's like 7 p.m. My sister calls, and she's like, "Sean, like Dad's in the hospital, and it's really bad. Like you shouldn't get on the plane." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
He said he wasn't feeling well.
What are you talking about? We were just blowing candles out 2 days before for my brother's birthday. Yeah. He was drinking a Bud Light on the couch. Like there's no problems, I'm going back and forth with Matt for like 10 minutes about the whole thing. Like, I don't know, man. This is really weird, whatever. And my phone rings again. It's my sister, Caitlin. She could barely speak. She's like crying her eyes out. Like, words are barely coming through. And she's like, do not get on the flight. And I'm like, I just got chill saying it.
Yeah.
And that was it. The decision was made. I'm like, I can't get on this flight. I don't know what's going on. I take an Uber to Phelps Memorial Hospital from JFK. I was like, Matt, go, bro. We paid for the whole trip. We got the rental car. We got the hotel, everything. Our bags shipped out to Cali.
Yeah.
He shows up at the hospital an hour later, which is like unbelievable, this guy, you know. And I get to the hospital and my dad's in a coma. And just like, talk about a curveball in life, you know. 26 hours in that hospital, he ends up fighting for his life and passes away, you know, and just
dude,
all over the place. But, you know, just kind of tying this whole thing together. This was in the beginning phases of ACE, like the first week.
Well, you had just booked the retreat.
Just booked it.
And now you're going out to Ed Milet. And then this.
Yeah. So, you know, I took a day or two for myself and processed whatever I processed.
Yeah, well, you thought you processed.
Yeah. And I texted Dave and I was just like, yo, I'm like, just a heads up. I'm like, obviously, like, I'm all fucked up in the game right now, but I need ACE more than ever. Like, we're going through with this damn thing.
God bless.
And, you know, I feel like my dad was for me at least, like a huge driving force for me and putting so much energy and passion and love into the creation of ACE, you know, and Dave was unbelievably supportive throughout the whole thing. CV, Steph, like, it was a great outlet for me. And it, you know, it was just a beautiful byproduct of a really terrible situation that I was going through, my family was going through.
That is tough. One thing I lost my dad in 2009, not as sudden. I mean, he was diagnosed in March 2008, stage 4 cancer. He passed away February 2nd, 2009. So it was about a year, a little less than a year. But one thing that he always taught me was that there was a silver lining to everything. Always, you got to look for the silver lining. He was like the ultimate, like, optimistic person. And one of the things that I struggled with going through his sickness was he had to have a tracheotomy performed. So you take your entire voice box out. And we thought it was like the worst thing that could ever possibly happen. So as a byproduct of that, he had to write down everything. Now to this day, I still have those letters. So every time I miss him or want to talk to him, I sit down and I read those letters, and it's like talking to him again. He was never on video. He never did any of that sort of stuff. And I just think about it as you tell that story, right? Like, you decided to go forward with ACE. You decided that ACE was the move. And then think of all the lives that you've impacted by making that one decision when you could have said, you know what, Dave, I need time to process or do whatever. And I admire that, dude. Like, that is a very strong thing to do. And I think it's very in line with your personality of like, you know what, I put my word up, I give my name, and this is the type of person I'm going to be. Because based on what you said your life was like prior to that, it wasn't like that.
No, not for a long time, man.
How did you get off the sauce? Because are you still sober?
Yeah.
Are you still?
Yeah, I'm almost 2 years.
2 years sober. What led to that decision? Was it, you know, the ACE and your dad? And
it was a big culmination of all that. But you know, it's just so weird being in the restaurant industry and like people are like, "Wait, you don't drink?"
Well, how many people offer you a drink? Hey, get the owner a drink.
Every day.
Yeah.
Just,
do you at this point, you know what I was doing? I was like, hey, listen, just get me the cheapest thing or whatever and just put like water in there or whatever.
No, I don't even do it.
You don't even do that?
No, nothing. I don't even have it. Like, I just have the conversation if I need to. Like, no, I don't drink, man. Like,
so in other words, you just turn down the drink?
Always.
Really?
Always. And I have great relationships with all of our regulars and
Oh,
all the customers.
yeah.
And
I'm
stuff.
sure people aren't offended by it, but I'm just.
No, yeah, but it's a difficult thing to like navigate in the beginning. You know, like it was definitely hard for me to be like, no, like I don't drink or whatever it is. So for me, man, like I grew up drinking, just like drinking was it.
Normal.
Like river towns, like bro, like when I was 13, like we were in the woods, cases of beer, splitting 18s with our boy. You know, like that was just like
Keg
the
parties.
thing. Yeah, it was a thing to do. Like I loved it forever. For like 20 years, I loved drinking beer. And that was my choice. Like, I wouldn't really drink like liquor and all. It was always beer.
Yep.
And I would crush like 15, 20 beers when I was really hitting it, you know? And I realized when I started, so I opened my first company, All-in-One Solutions, commercial cleaning, 2017. And I still had my full-time job when I started that company. But 2017 was when my wheels started turning in my head. And I'm like, all right, like, I got to start doing some stuff a little bit differently. If I want to, like, be successful in life, I have to start moving a little different. Not to say that I got off the sauce then. It took me forever. But it was, like, on my awareness level of, like, I don't know if this is the best thing for you, dude.
Yeah.
You know? And so I started drinking a lot less from 2017 forward.
Yeah.
And I got to a point in 2019 where I dated this girl for like a year. This girl from college who I like reconnected with like years after college. And it was a quick little fling and like just whatever it was, a year. And we broke up and I was just like kind of like looking back on the year prior. We went to 11 weddings together and we drank like every weekend. And it was just based off of like a partying fun thing with me and her.
Yep.
And
Very
I was like,
surface level.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I'm like, dude, I drank like every weekend this summer. I did all this stuff, all these weddings, and like, was it fun? Yeah, I guess. But like, now where are we at? We just broke up. I feel like shit. And I was like, I gotta chill with the drinking. So that was the first time ever that I took more than 2 weeks off of drinking.
Yep.
And I did a full month. And I felt amazing. And I sat with my thoughts. I was meditating. I was doing all this stuff to really think about how I felt about things.
How old were you at the time? Approximately?
6 years ago, so like 20, 28,
Okay.
27, 28.
That's good recognition for a 28-year-old.
27, 28. And I just like said, like, you got to chill. So took that month off, and then 2020 comes, and pandemic and
COVID,
whatever.
yeah.
I just slowed down with drinking all in all, you know? But when I would like start to go out, like once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks, I would hit it the same way I always hit it. 15, 20 beers. Waking up, hangover, brutal, like just terrible. And I would start to wake up those next days. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore, man. Like, I'm ruining my day. I'm ruining my weekend. I'm ruining my week ahead.
You know what those are called? The
What?
hate me's.
Yeah, totally. I
Wake up with the hate me's.
I hated myself the next day,
Yeah.
dude. And you didn't. Sometimes, like, I would like black out. You don't know what you did. You don't know what you said. Made stupid decisions.
Peace in the night together.
It's a mess, bro. So fast forward to 2023, my dad passes away, and the night of his funeral, I got hammered.
Yep.
You know, like just really hit it. And me and my fiance got into it about something, and I made some stupid comments that night and did some stupid things, and obviously emotionally charged, but also booze.
Yeah.
That was a big wake up. The month prior, before my dad, I had my friend Mike's wedding. And the night before his wedding, I got like blackout. Don't remember anything. And I woke up the day of his wedding. I'm like, I was in Brooklyn at a hotel, and I'm like, I want to die. I'm like, I want to die. I don't want to go to this wedding. I want to die. Like, this is like terrible.
Yep.
So then the thing happened at my dad's funeral, and that was kind of like my final straw of like, dude, you are done, buddy. So from November 1st to New Year's Eve, I didn't drink. We went down to Nashville to see her friends. And
So now that's 2 months.
2 months, no
Approximately.
drinking. Great. Felt amazing. I started getting shredded up again. Like, I was feeling good. Go down to Nashville and had a great night, but I drank. And I hit it hard again.
Because you thought that you were like, hey, I deserve it.
Thought I had control of it.
Yeah. And that you earned it.
Totally.
2 months off.
Totally. And I woke up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, I did it again, dude. You did it again. Like, you made an ass out of yourself last night. And like, nothing big, but just stupid shit. It wasn't myself. And so I just, from that day, I was like, I gotta chill. So I was like, let's do a 30-day challenge. That turned into a 75 hard challenge.
Which was dry January, turned into 75 hard.
And then we had the summit scheduled for February 12th or something like that, I think. So I was like, let's just go till the summit. And Dave was doing a dry January at the time. So him and I were talking, and we were like, yo, let's
This
push.
is last year, right?
2024.
Yeah, last year. Yep.
So I was like, yo, let's just push to the summit. And he was like, I don't know, he said it maybe. I don't know. So one of us said it. And we agreed to like kind of do it. We get to the summit, and we do this life-changing weekend, literally life-changing weekend.
Yeah, I was there.
And we're like, how the hell are we going to go back to drinking after this? And we just kind of kept pushing the destination further and further. And we're just at the point now where we're almost 2 years in, where it's just, there's been so much amazing shit that's happened in 2 years without booze.
Yeah. I think that people don't realize all of the, again, ripple effects that come with it. And it might not seem major, but just the fact that you can't get up early and get that exercise in, and you can't do that, and all the effects that it has, like, it's just absolutely, it's crazy that it's legal.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's legal, and this is not a political podcast, so we're not getting into the effects of the government and alcohol, but it's just insane that this thing that you could just go and it's so socially accepted, right? Like, think about it, especially in the restaurant business. It's like, hey, buy that guy a drink over there. Or like, you see it on TV all the time. Like, they have a meeting and it's like, hey, all right, so would you like a drink?
Yeah.
Being the person that doesn't drink, and you are stronger than, you are in a different position because you just say, I don't drink. Me, I personally just say, right now I'm off the sauce. I don't say that I'll never drink again. And you know,
I won't either, though.
Yeah. So like, I just like, I'm off the sauce, and it's just better for me at this point in my life not having alcohol so involved, or having your life revolve around alcohol is really the key to it. Like, your drink of choice was your beers, 15, 20 beers. For me, it's, 10, 15 shots of tequila. Or, in my 20s when my father passed, like, I was 27, 28 years old. And like those next 6 months were just like, I don't really remember them. Yeah. I was in a bar. Yeah. I was in a bar in the Bronx, and it was, at that point, my drink of choice was Jameson. And you're drinking, you're not just I'm not just doing like 2 or 3 shots of JMO. No, it's just glasses of Jameson with a Corona chaser. I'll have 1 Corona and 4 JMOs. Like, that's just kind of how it went. And that's amazing. So you're 2 years now. Almost 2 years.
January 1st will be 2 years. Yeah.
Interesting. And you obviously see a huge difference in your day to day.
Everything, dude. Just everything's gotten better in my life. Like, I know I've become a better man, like, for my fiance Jackie, like, all in all. Obviously, physically, like, I just feel way better. My physical fitness has gone through the roof as a result of not being dragged down by the booze. Yep. My mental clarity, and even just like my overall happiness. I struggled with anxiety, I told you, for a long time. And a lot of that was fueled from alcohol. And the next day I would have these panic attacks after drinking. And I started to like recognize, I'm like, oh, like, you go out and you party all night, and I would do, recreational drugs here and there. And like, you wake up the next day and you're like, dude, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And that's when the panic sets in. That's when the anxiety starts. And so overall, man, like, just everything has gone better. And I just feel like I'm truly living in alignment with like who I can be and who I should be.
People see this version of you, and what would you tell your younger self, your 20-year-old self, if you can go back and tell him one thing, what would it be?
I was asked this question on a podcast last week, and I really thought about this after I said it, and I would tell young Sean to hang in there, because, I mean, it's been such a ride, bro. Like, I get emotional saying that. Like, it was a really tough 15 years or whatever, like, it's been tough, man. And I've put a lot of adversity on myself. I've put a lot of self-inflicted adversity on myself. And I think ACE is a really beautiful platform for other people to say, all right, like, use me as the punching bag. Use me as the bad example of what I did. And don't do that. Like, I'm trying to give you the blueprint to not follow my path of how I did it. Because you could avoid this whole mess that's in the middle here. And you could get from point A to point B without going through all this shit. And that's what I think the smart people do in life. And I'm learning that. And I'm trying not to drag myself through the mud again, to get to the next tier where I want to be.
I think the expression is the teacher will appear when the student is ready.
Yes.
So you could try to tell that to people all they want, but until they're actually ready.
Totally.
'Cause think about it. How many people do you see that come to the dinners or come to the workouts, and they're like, hey, this is awesome, I want to get involved, but they might not be ready at that time. Yeah. And it's like, you don't ever close that door. It's just, when you're ready, we'll be here.
Yeah. I think it's frustrating as like a leader, if you will, and I'm sure you see this in your own businesses as well. Like, you want the best for people. You want people to experience this beautiful, transition in their life, whether it be in their career, in their personal life, what physical fitness, whatever it is.
Yep.
It's like, dude, like there's so much beautiful stuff on the other side of this.
Yeah.
If you were to just be willing to jump in and dive in.
Yep.
But to your point, like you can't drag people.
No, you just
They
have to
be ready.
live your life in alignment with your goals and your values, and then the right people, when they're ready, they will either jump on board or they'll continue doing what they're doing. And just love on the people that are close to you and be the best version of yourself. And
Totally.
I think as long as you do that, you're going to be in a really good place. And you can't necessarily think about all the people that you want to bring along with you. Like the right people will step with you. One thing that I really truly appreciate about Ace, besides the brotherhood that it has kind of created. I mean, if I sat here and thought about all of the different avenues of people that I've now either done business with or podcast or content or just shared laughs with, I would be here for a couple hours. But the vulnerability aspect.
Yeah.
What made you think to implement that as such a key part of ACE? You guys say ACE is bridging the gap between masculinity and vulnerability. How did you guys think that, because that is something that not a lot of people are doing.
It ain't around, baby.
It's not around.
It ain't around.
What made you guys hang your hat on that?
So, I'll speak for myself, and I know Dave, he's been through his own, journey with this whole thing. I'm not going to ask you if you've ever seen 8 Mile, Steve Pack, because I know you have.
Of course.
I know you have. The last rap battle.
Yeah, Mom Spaghetti.
Yeah. The last rap battle.
Yep.
When B-Rabbit's going against whoever the hell it is. Papa Doc.
Papa Doc.
Okay? And he's out there and he's like nervous as shit because everyone knows everything about him. So he's about to get blown up.
Yep.
He jumps the gun. He goes first and he says everything that Papa Doc is about to say about M, right?
Yep.
And he puts all the shit out there. And he's like, yo, what are you going to do now? Like, I'm stronger now. I got all this shit on the table. When I first started my personal growth journey, 2017-18, I started speaking to high schools. And I was talking to like football teams predominantly. Spoke to a couple of basketball programs, whatever. And I was in the middle of going through my anxiety and grief process of like this just brutal time in my life. Like 2018 was a bad year on the surface. And I started talking about my anxiety. I started talking about like how hard it is to lose someone and just my internal thought process surrounding all this stuff. I was so scared to do it because me growing up, like I was Mr. Pop, I was Mr. High School, like the football captain, I was the guy. And I prided myself forever on being that, being Mr. Knight in Shining Armor my whole life and not having a flaw and, all that stuff. When I flip that on its head and I'm like, here, I am a mess.
Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah. And I put it all out there, especially like on Instagram. And during these speeches I would do, I would get floods of people coming to me like, dude, I'm struggling with this. Like, thank you for putting it out there. I don't feel as crazy now. Yo, how did you get through that? Little things like that. Dave has his own journey where you've heard, and he's been through so much shit, and he has a very similar path where he started putting that stuff out there, and people naturally gravitate towards him for advice and whatever. And it feels so damn good, man. It is so fulfilling to be yourself authentically, truly yourself out there, not have to hide behind something. Look yourself in the mirror and say, yup, that's me. And tell everybody this is who you are and actually live that on a daily basis and not be ashamed of it. You're helping so many people by doing that because then they feel the courage to become their true selves, They're not ashamed of those deep, dark secrets they used to have, And so I think the coming of the two different worlds that Dave and I had where we both were willing and vulnerable enough to put that out there into the world was, that kind of creation of like bridging the gap of like, you look at Dave especially, and you're like, look at this guy. Are you shitting me? Like, he's going to talk to me about his feelings? No way. No way.
Shout out to Dave.
And same thing my whole life. Like, people look at me like, dude,
Yeah,
you look like you're gonna punch me in the face. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm a nice guy, I swear. And we start talking about our feelings and all these struggles and all these different things that we've like really done bad in our lives or whatever.
Yep.
I think it hits a little deeper.
It's very disarming.
Yes.
It's very disarming, especially coming from two guys that, on the surface, the both of you seem, we obviously first impressions are huge, right? So you see Dave, who is in good shape. You see yourself, who's in great shape, and you don't think that we're going to talk about feelings.
No, we think you're talking about bench press.
Yeah, exactly, bench press or whatever. Yeah. Yes, exactly, physical, whatever it may be. But I think that. So that's how you kind of came up with the idea. You guys saw that you got such an outpouring of feedback by being vulnerable that you said, "Hey, let's hang our hats on this for Ace."
Totally, but like in that, like Claudio could speak to this too because he was in these meetings like for months, and Steph, like we got a perspective from a female, from Steph, and we got outside perspective from Claudio. Like, it was a collaborative effort for months where we would meet at the sale house and we would go through names, we would go through just like slogans. Dave was very good at like simplifying things. Like, he wanted like a 3-letter acronym like ACE, ACE, I was thinking bigger names and whatever. Like, my shit would have been terrible. And, he like simplified all that stuff. But like through these conversations of talking about my experience and Dave's experience together, we were able to form that concept together.
Yeah, I really, just here on this platform, I did this when Dave was on here, and I want to do it again for you. Like, I really appreciate and thank you for you guys starting Ace and being who the two of you are, because just the two of you being who you are, it helps so many other people that might not necessarily get the chance to thank you or tell you how much it is appreciated and needed in especially our area, but the world as a whole.
Totally. Thank you, bro. I received that. Just got chills again as you said that, because I'm really, like I said earlier, I'm trying to hear and receive and take that in. Yep. So thank you, bro. And I appreciate you like tremendously for being the man you are. You're a man of your word, and you are who you say you are.
I feel like you get aligned with the people that you need to be aligned with. And just to kind of piggyback more on the Ace aspect in my life, like just going on that retreat and sitting there in a room with people and talking about your feelings. Like, I had no idea, like, going to the retreat, like, I was supposed to go there with my brother-in-law, and he ended up getting sick and not coming. And then I was like, oh, wait, should I go or whatever?
Yeah, I remember.
And I was
you
like,
were on the fence. I remember.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to go because I'm not really going to know anybody there or whatever. And again, I'm the introverted extrovert or whatever it may be. Like, I was like, you know what? My fiance was like, just go. Like, you paid for it, just go. You don't know what's going to come of it. And then from there, you just deepen the relationships with people and sitting in a room and listen, you guys had Chernow there, Jacob was there, Vin Maselli, like those conversations for me, like being in a room in such a small, 20, 30 people and being able to talk to people about your feelings was something that I needed at that point in my life. So like, keep it up, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, man. It's a special thing, and like it's like Christmas for me that the summit's coming soon. Like it is. I am so excited.
I am so bummed that I'm gonna miss it, but I love you, babe.
You're gonna be in Hawaii. You're gonna be doing the Hulu out there.
I'll catch you guys on the next one. One thing that really hit me, I remember from the summit, aside from I really enjoyed jumping in the lake. That was honestly like top moment, like that was awesome.
Special place.
But something that really hit me while I was there was the fact that I wasn't sure if it was you or it was Dave that said it, that this room will never be this small again because of where you guys saw that. So like, I'm excited to see where it goes, right? And how far you guys could take it.
Yeah. It's Dave and I have a saying. It's just like to the moon. Like we are just we're going, bro. And it's not again like an ego-driven thing. It's not. It is a competitiveness thing. Like I am competitive as shit. I want to win. Like I want to succeed, and so does he. But it's an impact thing. Like it's almost a selfish thing of like how many lives can we impact because it feels so damn good and it's so needed.
Talk to me about dining with Degs.
Oh, DWD.
Yeah,
baby.
tell me about that. That was an Instagram page that you had started.
Yeah.
Was it a company? Was it a business? What exactly
So,
was it?
I mean, I made some money based off of it for like merchandise sales and all that. So 2020, I'll back it up a little bit. So on Instagram, like 2014 or something, early days, I started posting cooking stuff when I got out of college. Mm-hmm. And I would put stuff out there and people always, or on like Snapchat. And people are like,
Snapchat.
Oh, yeah.
I never got into Snapchat. Thank goodness.
Good for you.
Yeah, I never got into it.
Snapchat was a lot of trouble back in the early 2000s. But I would put like, cooking videos out there and people would always reply to my stuff like, bro, this is ridiculous. It looks like I will like give myself the nod. I'm a great cook. And I love it. It's just like a labor of love. Mm-hmm. So I would put it out there and people would constantly be like, dude, you have to create a cooking page. Because that was kind of like the buzz thing that was happening, in like the mid 2010s on Instagram, whatever. So finally, 2020 comes, the world shuts down, and I'm like, I'm going to do this thing. So I put this crazy promo video. I have to send you it. It's ridiculous. I think I have Ave Maria playing in the background.
Really?
And,
Ave Maria?
It's like
from church?
Bro, there's like red wine swirling slow. I've got braised short ribs going down in the pot. Like, it's ridiculous, this video. And it was like my coming soon video I put out. It was like in my world, the internet was wild.
Yeah,
it was on fire.
It was going viral.
Viral, bro. Like, what is going on? He's doing it. And so I had I had a Rolodex of recipes, and I had a lot of time on my hands because the world was shut down.
Yeah.
I never missed a day of work. Fun fact. I was in the wholesale produce world, so I worked every single day of the pandemic, every day.
Masked up.
Yeah. And but you would go home and you can't do anything. You work out at home. I was in the park. I was lifting trees and
everything
rocks.
was shut down. Yeah,
There's no gyms. It was brutal. So I would just create these videos. And so I just started pumping out videos and recipes and all this stuff. And the page started to really take off. And I had 3,000 followers in a month. And then it grew 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I think it got to 8,000 at one point. It's back down now to something. But I love it. And Dining with Degs was kind of like my Black Mamba alter ego.
Okay.
It's I have this old school Ginzo mentality inside of me, and I am 100% Irish.
I was about to say. I know you're not
I just have
Italian.
that in me from growing up in the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's just that. I don't know. If you listen to the videos, you'll hear me speak a little different.
The page is still active?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. And it's coming. It's making a big comeback.
I'm going to put a link to that in the description.
So Dining with Degs, we've got 2026 Fuel Fitness Focus is going to be coming out. A cookbook that I'm working on.
Really?
Surrounding around
You were telling me.
healthier eating, lifestyle habits, leadership, and all that stuff. Just kind of how I live my life.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You've already started working on it?
Yeah, I got a shit ton of recipes. Got to get all the videos and pictures and stuff together. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff working.
One thing I will say, obviously I will support whatever it is that you're doing. For me, recipe books, I feel like they're a bit too complicated. Mm-hmm. And the biggest problem that I have with recipe books is there's so many recipes in there, I don't have that stuff in my kitchen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I always, when I pick up a recipe book, I'm like, all right, I'm never going to make this because I got to go to the store to go buy whatever, thyme or whatever the hell that season's called. For this one thing, I'm never gonna go do that, so I'm never gonna make that. So my suggestion would be just to try to get some recipes in there that are simple to make, that maybe with some stuff that's in the household on a normal basis.
So, fun fact about me, I've followed a recipe once in my life. I'm not a recipe follower either. I go in, I'm let me just a little splash of this, a little punch of this, a pinch or whatever. So I'm not going to give away too much, but you're going to see some of my personality shine through in how it's done.
Good. You know what I think would be cool, and I don't know the concept of the of your project, but all right, so after a run, this is a good recipe. Before this, so I would really relate to that.
Yeah,
because I struggle with the biggest struggle that I have is not getting to the gym.
No,
it's what I'm eating. and it's the
hard
diet.
part. Yeah, diet's hard, bro.
You know, so
I struggle with it still. It's difficult.
So great idea. I can't wait to hear read it. I'm sure there won't be an audible version of it just yet, but I can't wait to and put a lot of pictures in there too.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm gonna be out there. You know me.
What's your go-to recipe? Date night with the fiance and you're cooking. What's the go-to? I've seen some really cool shit on your social media of some meals that you've made.
You got to get to my page because you're gonna be like, well, "This is dope." Me and my fiance's dialed in. She is like, you think I'm dialed like you see me on the surface? Like she is dialed, bro. She's hitting her steps every day.
Oh yeah.
She is like recipes, like she's on it. And like I'm the one that makes her fall off track when I'm like, yo, I need a chicken parm. Come on, I'm dying.
Let's go get an Italian
I am dying. I need a chicken parm. So like I'm the one that throws her off. So we are trying to be on like a healthier kick. So like the go-to is a lot different than what it used to be.
All right, let's assume that nutrition and being dialed in is not the case. What's the go-to?
One of my favorites, it was her birthday dinner meal that I made. This was like 3 years ago. And I made it with Bonza pasta. So there was still protein rocking in there. It was a pesto cream sauce pasta. And I made it with chicken sausage, pancetta, onions. It was just ridiculous.
Pancetta is like breadcrumbs?
It's like an Italian bacon.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's but it's a little more fattier. It's got kind of like a smoky like flavor profile to it, so it's
Look at the
it's
description
really
there.
good.
It's
It's
awesome.
really good. But yeah, pesto cream was like. I'm a big sauce guy. Like I eventually might come out with like just like a whole sauce recipe book or something.
Yeah.
But like sauces will ruin your meals, so do not put too much dressing or sauce on your meals because you will get fat.
Do you where do you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years down the road?
Damn.
Let's start with 15.
15 years down the
Far
road.
out. Let's far out and then go.
Palm Beach, Ocean Avenue. I love Florida. Like I want to have a home down, Palm Beach or somewhere in that area. If it's, I don't know if it's full time or whatever it is. I always tell Jackie like my goal is to have a Palm Beach house or condo or whatever, Westchester, New York City penthouse. She's like, yeah, like, and you want to have kids? So what school are they going to? I'm like,
dude, I thought about the same shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
I always just go to homeschooling.
Yeah.
Homeschool.
The way society's trending, we might be going there anyways. Nah, man, I see myself having a lot of different ventures and ownership in different companies. I love partnering with people, collaborating with people. I think I have a real like true addiction to growth and like building things out. The creation phase is like so fulfilling to me.
Yep.
So I see a lot of that happening, but I see myself with hopefully a bunch of little kids running around and a happy wife at
Little
home that
Degs
sees me
running
a lot
around.
more than she sees me now. And just enjoying life with her, man. I'll never stop seeking challenge. I'll never stop seeking bigger, more impact and just growth in general,
One of the things that you guys talk about a lot in ACE is, what's your mantra? At this current season of your life, what is your mantra?
Damn, bro. Last year, and for a long time, my favorite quote is "Everything worthwhile is uphill." That's John Maxwell. Joe K has had a big impact on me with the expression that he said, and I know I've cursed a few times. I'm going to curse right now.
That's all right.
He posed the question at one of the dinners, and he's like, "Are you who you say you are?" And he turned it back to himself. He's like, "Be who the fuck you say you are. I am who I say I am." And I have to remind myself that on a daily basis, that with all of the chaos that life and entrepreneurship brings me, that I choose to go down, this is the price of admission. I chose this path. No one put me in this. These are my decisions. This is a product of what I have chosen to do. So if I do want to continue to thrive and go down that path of entrepreneurship, of growth, of building massive scale businesses and impact around the world, I have to be who the fuck I say I am. I have to show up for myself on a daily basis. I can't take days off.
Yeah.
I have to be there for myself. I have to be there for others.
One of the things that reminds me of no days off is that while you're sleeping, there's somebody out there building a life that you want.
Mm-hmm.
My fiance always tells me, like, just take some time off, just do this. And I'm like, yeah, but like, somebody might be able to, somebody might call that homeowner before I can get to them. Somebody might do this. Somebody might, like, your competition's out there. And forget about the competition, but the devil's out there trying to lure you to be that lazy version of yourself. And we all have those two versions of ourselves that are like the version of yourself that you know is inside of you, the animal, the warrior, and then the person that is just going to placate to whatever society is. And and being around you and being around Dave and even, you know, the entire ACE community as a whole reminds me of that warrior and bringing it out. And through vulnerability, through the plunging, through the workouts, and through Dave's ridiculous core finishers at the end of every workout that I cannot stand.
Oh my God. Body by Reg. Beach body by Reg.
All right. So one of the questions that I always ask everybody that's sitting in that seat is, Sean Degnan is long gone, 100 years down the road, 150 years, whatever it is. What do you want your legacy to be, and what do you want people to say about you?
I mean, on a large scale and like a, I guess, surface level, like, answer would be like just impact, like Sean impacted millions. I want my soon-to-be wife, my future kids to think about me and say, he wasn't just a good business guy. He wasn't just a rah-rah guy that riled up the dogs in Ace. He was a guy that showed up at home. He was a guy that was intentional with his time, with his family. And it's something that I'm aware of every day. And I'm not doing a great job at it right now, very transparently, because of the stage of my life that I'm in. And I mentioned earlier, like, I tell Jackie, like, hang in with me. Mm-hmm. Like, are you willing to go down this journey with me? And she is.
Well, she said yes.
She is. And, you know, I want to make sure I continue to grow in that area of my life. And I want to make sure that at the end of the road that, you know, I showed up for them before anyone else. Mm-hmm. You know, not just the business, not just the, you know, the team and all that.
Interesting. That's awesome, bro. I'd like for you to take a moment and look in your camera right there and just let people know how they can get in touch with you if they want information on ACE and or leadership and or dining with Degs. Sale House, whatever it is that you want to promote, man. This is for you.
Thank you, brother. So you can catch me on SeanDegnan.com. I have all of my links there. So all my social media, all the business ventures I have, SeanDegnan.com. But I think I'm most active on Instagram. So at Sean.Degnan on Instagram. So if you want to connect with me, shoot me a DM. A lot of great stuff happening in the works. We've got some crazy announcements coming for 2026 for ACE. Action Cultivates Excellence, the Sale House, All-in-One Solutions, commercial cleaning, my baby that always gets forgotten about, that isn't talked about much. I got a commercial cleaning company too, guys, so if you need an office clean, you got a business, give me a shout. And, yeah.
They can't catch you on Snapchat anymore?
Hell no. They ain't catching me nowhere.
My man, I appreciate you being here, dude. For real, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to dive even deeper with you. This has been another episode of the Padernacht Podcast, Brick by Brick. See you guys next week.
Peace.